Yeah, alright, this is your wisest astrologer. I haven't done a video in a while, and I don't know how many fans I have left, but if I have only 10 fans left, that is okay, because Mars in Scorpio is about only fans. And Mercury and the Sun are in Scorpio too. Oh, and Saturn is going direct, which I'll get into later. So hopefully everyone unsubscribed except for obsessives and perverts, so I could keep this a cool, underground, exclusive club for secretive people with dirty minds. Dirty minds that need to be lubricated every so often. And sure, I might sound like a wise-ass Astroglide salesman, but I don't want to beat around the bush too much, because with the current sky, it's more about what's beating between your bush. Mars is in Scorpio, and Mars in Scorpio is about your gonads, your genitals, your rectum, your prostate, and Uranus. And to clarify, I'm not talking about the planet Uranus. I'm not just being a cheeky arsehole, as the Brits say. I'm talking about your actual anus. And Mars in Scorpio is driving everything in the sky at the moment. Mars is conjunct Mercury in Scorpio and ruling that. Mars is also ruling the Sun in Scorpio. And then Mercury in Scorpio is ruling Venus in Virgo, which is ruling Jupiter in Taurus, which is ruling Saturn in Pisces. So, like I was saying, only my fans, only my astrology only fans, are aware that I emerged from whatever secret activity I'm engaging in to do a video so I can release my perverted astrological ramblings that I need to get out of my system. But before I get into that, I want to further isolate myself and lose some more fans by going on a brief Scorpio rant about Halloween. So indulge me for a little bit and nod your head patiently as I get this out of my system. Because Jupiter is in Taurus right now, and Jupiter in Taurus is at its best when it humors Scorpio by nodding or bobbing its head patiently as Scorpios get things out of their system. So anyway, it was just Halloween, right? And people wear these masking costumes because they don't want people to see the real them. Maybe the real them is deep and dark and perverted. Maybe people are worried that they won't be accepted for their real selves, so they wear a costume. Oh, but it's a costume party, you say. It's supposed to be entertaining. Bullshit. If that were the case, Halloween would be on July 31st in Leo season. It's the rest of the world saying that Scorpios are too dark and intense, and that to be socially acceptable, we have to wear some bullshit costume, like some goofy goblin or something, a cheesy metaphor to wear that the world can accept, because our true selves, our real selves, are too dark and intense to be proud of, and we have to hide behind some scary makeup or some dumb mask that is supposed to be an expression of ourselves. So I'm going to tell you something. With Mars transiting Scorpio now, it is giving every Scorpio sun out there the courage to stand up and fight to be who they really are. And with Mercury in Scorpio right now, it is giving every Scorpio sun out there the self-awareness to communicate who they really are. And some people say Scorpios are paranoid. Oh, silly Scorpio, you are so paranoid. And sometimes that may be, but I, as a Scorpio sun sign, am tired of being persecuted and being forced to hide behind a fucking mask like a coward. People think Scorpios are scary and creepy people who choose to hide behind a mask. Well, I'm here to tell you that is bullshit. Hiding behind a mask is the only way we as Scorpios are allowed to probe into the deep, dark underlying issues in life, because the rest of the world is too superficial to do it themselves. If the rest of the world wasn't so afraid of understanding their deep, true selves, then we Scorpios could be more open with our true selves. But until then, we'll penetrate you behind some Dracula garb, because the rest of the world thinks it's a real hoot. That Dracula costume's a real hoot. Oh, fuck you. So Mars in Scorpio penetrates you with what's behind the mask. It's the deep fuck you eyes or the deep fuck me eyes. It's not the hyperactive eyes of Mars in Aries that likes to get in your face and scare you on Halloween. No. With Mars in Scorpio, the fuck is deeply implied, even when it's trying to be secretive about it. Just look in the eyes. It's communicated, even when it's trying to hide it. You know, the famous sketch comedy troupe Monty Python had a song called Sit on My Face and Tell Me That You Love Me. Sit on my face and tell me that you love me. Though that song was written by Eric Idle, who has his natal Venus in Taurus. But Mars in Scorpio is, I'll sit on your face and gyrate until I get some fucking relief. Mars in Scorpio is trying to get into everyone's pants right now. But let's take a moment to get into Jupiter in Taurus, which is opposing Mars, Mercury, and the Sun in Scorpio. So yes, we have Mars, Mercury, and the Sun opposing Jupiter in Taurus right now. And then furthermore, we have Saturn in Pisces, which happens to be going direct this week. And Pisces, of course, falls under the rule of Jupiter. Accept the responsibility of having to be vulgar and intense with your words, but be calm with your cadence and philosophies. So let's slow this down a bit. We've got this intensely sexualized awareness with Mars conjunct Mercury in Scorpio in the sky right now. And Scorpio is Mars' home sign. We've also got Mercury in Scorpio ruling Venus in Virgo, and then Venus in Virgo ruling Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. So Venus in Virgo is aware that it has to artfully streamline that intense Scorpio energy so it lands on the steady path ahead that awaits within Jupiter in Taurus. And with Venus in Virgo, we have to handle this very important job without getting too anxious. And after all of this, with Saturn in Pisces, we have to accept the responsibility of putting our feet down on the path that we have laid out. And right now, that path could start with just getting laid. Mars in Scorpio reminds us that we need to get laid every so often. And Saturn in Pisces is literally how we curl up our feet. So with Mars in Scorpio, we make fuck me eyes. And Saturn in Pisces finally moving direct allows us to have toe-curling orgasms. Now, as far as Jupiter in Taurus goes, Jupiter in Taurus is very peaceful when rooted in one spot, and it likes to keep the jaw and neck loose and limber. For example, so say you're standing there peacefully in the middle of the road, and then all of a sudden you see your favorite astrologer, and then bam, you come right there on the spot, right where you stand. Like you're standing there with a relaxed jaw, eating a peach, or for some, sucking on a popsicle, and then you see your favorite astrologer, and then bam, your feet ball up in a toe-curling orgasm. We've all been in those situations, but with Jupiter in Taurus, we can be stuck there too long with this dopey look on our face, tongue-tied, just mouthing the words, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," over and over and over again when we see something or someone we really like. So don't stand there with your mouth agape too long because you don't know how to talk to your crush. Make some deep fuck me eyes and let people know that you are serious about getting things out of our system. Did I say our system? I meant your system. Jupiter in Taurus is about peaceful ideas, but Mars and Mercury in Scorpio are aware that sometimes these Jupiter and Taurus ideas can be a bit boring and repetitive. So if you are a woman or a trans man and your partner likes yoga and has some boring Jupiter and Taurus mantra where they just drone on and on and on, as Jupiter and Taurus is wont to do, stick your vagina in their face while they drone on and on so their mantra reaches their target audience. Om, Om. Really, what the fuck do you think they're doing with that mantra? Om. Really, who or what do you think they're trying to inspire? They're trying to inspire your orgasm. Jupiter is about inspiration, and because it is in Taurus and opposing all of the Scorpio energy right now, their mouth is trying to inspire your orgasm. And it will buzz Om for as long as it takes. An endless steady human vibrator those Jupiter and Taurus lips are. And Uranus being in Taurus only adds to these vibrations even more. Now, speaking of vibrations, I know many of you are saying, enough with the sex talk, wise ass. What about the higher vibration of Scorpio? Look, sex is just vibrations, right? There are good vibrations and vibrations that are not so good. There are some celebrities with Mars and Scorpio who people say have not so great vibrations. Celebrities with the first names Harvey and Bill. So guys with your natal Mars and Scorpio, sometimes you have to keep this in mind. And this also applies to any cisgender woman with their natal Mars and Scorpio, and the metaphorical penis that you imagine you have when you get angry. So to those with Mars and Scorpio with penises, I know that with Jupiter in Taurus right now, you can get angry when someone doesn't know what the fuck they are talking about, but they think that they do. And they keep droning on and on about their traditional concepts, and they won't shut their fucking gob. And I know you imagine whipping out your cock and smacking their gob with your cock. You know, leaving them gobsmacked. And like I said, even if you are a woman with your natal Mars in Scorpio, when you are angry, you are imagining you had a cock to smack people with. And by the way, you can project that imagination very strongly now with Mars and Scorpio moving towards a trine with Neptune and Pisces. But there are laws against this type of aggression, especially in the workplace, and on the subway train, and in the supermarket. Those with Mars and Gemini know that smacking people with your hand might give them a concussion. That's why there are laws regulating fighting. Some guys out there with their natal Mars and Scorpio might be saying that if they smack someone with their cock, they might give someone a concussion. Yeah, smacking someone with my cock might give them a concussion, yo. But those guys are full of shit. But while you can't give people a concussion by smacking them with your penis, with Mars and Scorpio, you can use your penis or your vagina to fuck with people's brains in other ways. Oh, and one more thing before I get into the upcoming moon transits. When Jupiter in Taurus is opposite Mars and Scorpio, the world can be committed to their ideas and beliefs, and will intensely fight anything that threatens that commitment. But I ran out of time to talk about Israel and Hamas because I was too busy talking about sex. So I'm sorry I can't solve the world's problems today. Another time perhaps. Maybe when Venus moves into Libra. Saturn goes direct early Saturday morning at 3:03 a.m. Eastern Time, and the moon enters Leo shortly afterwards at 3:21 a.m. And this Leo moon and Saturn direct will reflect the energy of the Scorpio Sun Taurus Jupiter opposition very strongly, as the Sun will be ruling the moon and Jupiter will be ruling Saturn. So be cool, sexy, and confident enough to be comfortable at the center of attention, yet possess a calm kind of knowing that you could accept any challenge that comes your way. Feel proud of your intensely sexual expression, and be chill enough to allow yourself to have that toe-curling orgasm you've been patiently waiting for. The moon enters Virgo on Monday at 2:39 p.m. Eastern Time. Try not to be too self-conscious with how your belly looks in certain sex positions. Think of it like you are a sexy and sensual belly dancer. Venus enters Libra on Wednesday, November 8th at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and the moon enters Libra Thursday, November 9th at 3:08 a.m. Eastern Time. Venus conjunct the moon in Libra will bring a harmonious vibe. This is nice. I really like this conjunction because it will finally bring a feeling of real balance and harmony and bring us some much needed calibration as we set the stage to transform ourselves through the very, very powerful new moon and Mars in Scorpio. I think Venus conjunct the moon in Venus's home sign of Libra is the most underrated aspect of the next few weeks, especially because it is happening at the very beginning of Libra. So the tone for that Libra moon will really be set and activated pretty early. But before that new moon in Scorpio, Mercury goes into Sagittarius on Friday, November 10th at 1:25 a.m. Eastern Time. Calmly accumulate as much information as you can. You already have a good outlook and philosophy on life. Now it's just about learning how to move forward with information that steadily accumulates. And finally, the new moon in Scorpio. The moon enters Scorpio on Saturday, November 11th at 1:39 p.m. Eastern Time. And the new moon in Scorpio takes place on Monday, November 13th at 4:27 a.m. Eastern Time. And this new moon is conjunct Mars in Scorpio, which makes it really, really powerful. And it's also opposite Uranus and Taurus. So you can transform yourself, however and whatever you feel you need to deeply transform yourself to. You don't have to let people know how you feel about this process and why you're doing it, only that you're cool with who you are and that you are bringing the depths of your inner self to the forefront so it can shine. You can do it. The most important thing with Mars in Scorpio is to be fucking cool, be in control, but don't be a paranoid, controlling coward. Speaking of inner selves, now on to the Beatles. John Lennon enjoyed the music he made with the Beatles, but sometimes he thought his message got obscured under the costumes he had to wear, and he wanted his lyrics to cut through that with a deeper message. He had his Mercury in Scorpio, sure, but he also had his Venus in Virgo and Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, the same signs these planets are in now. So how did he handle it? At the height of his fame, he got his message out by posing with his wife, Yoko, fully naked on this Two Virgins album cover here. This wasn't some attention grab that celebrities who are out of the headlines use to stay in the spotlight. No, he wanted to communicate that he was something deeper underneath the Beatles' image and outfits, and his Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus allowed him to be at peace with this rebellion and liberation. So here's the album cover. Now, YouTube prohibits me from showing hairy yonis or mustachioed yannis, but Venus in Virgo now reminds us that the 1960s had beautiful and sensual music and was being made by people with hair on their lower bellies. So peace, love, stars, and listen to the Beatles, and let the vibrations of my piano take your pony stick or yoni chick for a ride.